good evening. Welcome to Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evenings edition. We'd like to welcome you guys on board. This evening, you have just two of the four. You have Jim Nardoni, who's been gone forever. Good evening, Jim, the
Good
former chief
evening.
of Trent Police Department. Good evening, Jim. What's up?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. I missed you.
Yeah, I missed you guys too.
Oh, okay. So I'll introduce myself, or you
Yes.
can introduce me. Why don't you introduce me? Do me the
So,
honors.
my very good friend, Vanessa Moss, candidate, esteemed attorney, candidate for probate court judge in Wayne County. So get out, tell your friends about Vanessa. You know, nobody cares more about the community than Vanessa. So um, we'll be a lot better off if people like Vanessa are elected to the bench. So tell your friends, tell your family, scream it from the mountaintops. Vanessa Moss should be a probate court judge because I've had experience in probate. We've talked about it at length. It's a big deal. You don't need probate until you need probate, right? It's
Yeah.
like you never need an attorney until you're in trouble or somebody's taking your money or whatever the case is. You need a probate judge. Most of us are going to need a probate court judge at some time if we have, and some of our viewers have commented, elderly parents, people that parents suffer from dementia and they need a conservator, they need a guardianship case. You have a young person that in a different situation that may have physical or mental disabilities, you might need a probate court judge.
Mhm.
You might need a probate court judge to sell a house or sell an estate. So we don't think about probate, but we should. And I unfortunately had to deal with it. It was no fun. I was lucky enough to draw a good judge, and I had a good attorney, and we were able to get through it. So tell us who my judge was, Vanessa.
Actually, it was she's retired, June Blackwell Hatcher, and she said she will come on the show. We have to schedule it, but June Blackwell Hatcher was your judge in your matter, and I will say, practicing in probate court, she was considered one of the tough judges,
You
but
look tough, I'll tell you that.
she was fair. She looked at estates as if they were her own personal estate. And I'm not talking about using the money, but protecting individuals that were legally incapacitated. So that was your judge. And I practiced in front of her quite a bit. The thing about judges is that uh, everybody's not going to be happy with the outcome. But you should be able to respect the outcome if they're following the law, explain to you, right, that they're following the law, that they're respectful and fair. When somebody tells me no and I understand why they're telling me no, I can't be mad at them. So yeah, so it's 3 seats, three judges. And
Thank
by
you
the
on
way,
purpose. Hello,
the three
Dwayla.
judges, they have aged out. Three, and they all happen to be African American. And I think that it's important that our community, Wayne County, represents each and every last one of us, and it matters. Representation does matter in every profession, and especially on the bench. And you also want people that come from your community, that can relate to your community, that is involved in your community, not somebody that's just trying to, you know, collect a check. Okay. But
Absolutely.
anyway, I digress. So listen, Jim, I was asking Jim. Thanks, D. We're gonna get to you guys. Matter of fact, you want to go ahead and get with our guests. You want to talk. You want to talk to
I'm
them.
only seeing Dwayla's comments, so I don't know if I'm doing something wrong here tonight, but
Okay.
I'm only seeing
D,
one
I
comment.
call her D Love. She said, "Good evening, all."
I
She
see
said,
that
"You
one.
got this." Tracy Loftus Allen. Good evening, Tracy. Janet overall, she knows the assignment she shared. On I on purpose at on purpose. Win, Vanessa. Welcome back, Jim. Yes, welcome back. Janet, overall, good evening. She said,
Oh,
good
they're
evening,
there.
everyone. Mr. Duckett, hey, Mr. Duckett. He said, honorable probate judges protect generational wealth.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Dorian says, we are rallying for Vanessa for probate judge. Dorian says, good evening. Edward, what's up? He said, good evening, Detroit. Welcome back, Vanessa and Jim.
Thank you, Edward.
Mr. Duckett said, good evening. Derek Henry, good evening. Good evening. Oh, and by the way, Jim, I wasn't here on Wednesday. I wasn't here on Wednesday, and I think I missed a day last week. But I feel like I owe our family explanation. Yeah,
Thank you.
I miss Jim too. You see, you got a little
Thanks, Janet.
if I'm not here, I'm working. I'm doing something. I'm either campaigning or I'm visiting a client or I'm teaching. So those would be the reasons that I'm not here for the most part. So I wasn't here on Wednesday. But Jim, where's the victory party, Nessa?
And Jill Sheridan's out there. Hey, Jill, you mentioned
What's up,
Dorian,
Jim?
Mr. Duckett, Janet. Thank you, Janet, for your comment. Tracy, Duela, Jill from sunny Florida, hopefully sunny. Derek Henry.
Right.
I'm trying to catch up. Something's going on here on purpose. And something about and Tracy Loftus Salam. Hello to you.
Mm-hmm.
Candace. Hello, Candace. Good evening to you. Les, where's the victory? Les is always thinking about the party.
Where the party at?
And G Money Hollywood. Thank you, G Money. Good to see you. It's good to be back.
Right. Jim, Teresa, and all of us, we're going to plan the victory party. Just know that the Wayne County Probate Court race does not have a primary. So my name will not be on the ballot for August. However, it will be on the ballot in November. And we vote V, right? We vote victory for Vanessa. I'm the only V on the ballot, by the way. So all you have to remember is Vanessa. I don't care about the other names. They all begin with the same letter. They don't begin with victory. They don't begin with V. So anyway, Jim, you've been missing in action. You want to tell the fam where you've been?
Yeah, we can do that. I just went on a little 8-day little trip to the western part of the country and was able to spend some time in Montana and Wyoming, and went to Yellowstone National Park and Grand Tetons National Park. I was able to see a grizzly bear in the wild, and a lot of elk, a lot of an eagle, a bald eagle in the wild, and a lot of bison. I mean, the bison were in front of you. They wouldn't move out of the way of your car. I was 5-6 feet away from the bison, and those are big 1,200-pound beasts. So,
really?
Yeah. So anyway, but it was an experience, something a lot. If you get an opportunity, it's just a different world out there, and I would encourage anybody to do it. Travel while our friends here are young. Travel while you're young. That's what I say, because it's not easy.
So, Jim, was it a tour? Did you do a tour, or how did that go?
Interestingly enough, I got an app. I paid $25 for an app of Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons, and I was able to follow the app. It would say, go stop at this point, skip the next point because it's not that important, and it was a lot of fun. So, and there's a bear in Flat Rock, Mr. Duckett says. Not a grizzly bear though.
Wow. Okay.
I did have some Edward, some bison meatballs with gravy and mashed potatoes and mushrooms and onion. Yeah, I did. It was good.
So why Yellowstone? Why Yellowstone Park?
I don't know. And it's a remarkable place. It's like nowhere else I've ever been to in the world. I can just say that. There's smoke coming out of mountains. There's a grand prismatic lake. There's Old Faithful. There's all these wild animals. It was an experience that I won't forget. So
wow.
Okay. Help the bear. Yeah. And unfortunately, the day before I arrived, two young men were attacked by a grizzly bear.
While you were there?
The day before, while I was in transit, they were hiking with their mother and her sister, and sadly they got off the trail, and I guess they spooked a grizzly mama with 2 or 3 of her babies and her cubs, and they were attacked. So unfortunately, but it looks like they're going to survive.
Oh, so, okay.
hopefully the bear survives. Just mama protecting her babies is unfortunate, but it did happen. It does happen, but
So you said they veered off the trail?
well, they were off in the backwoods. But I missed the elk, Edward. I wanted to try elk, but I didn't. But Mr. Duckett, go while you're young, my friend. I would say go. It's worth it. Follow through. It's hard because we say, well, I'm going to do that next year. I'm going to do that next year, and 5 years go by, 10 years go by, and last Grand Canyon. My brother was at the Grand Canyon the same time. That's farther west of there. It's about I think 5 or 6 hundred miles west of Yellowstone in Arizona, Grand
Hmm.
Canyon. So he enjoyed that.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked on the phone a little bit, but the Grand Canyon sounds like a great trip too. So,
Yeah,
but
I did
anyway,
Canyon. Yeah.
enough of the fun times. Not everybody wants to hear about all the fun.
Right. Now we
Um,
want to hear. So I will say that we advertised that we were going to have a young man named Tyus Monroe who watches Detroit in black and white. He's running for office. He was supposed to be on the show tonight. About an hour before the show, he had an emergency. He apologized profusely. He's going to reschedule. Something came up, and he had to address it. He apologizes to Detroit in black and white. He's looking forward to speaking to us, and so hopefully we'll be able to get him on in the next couple of weeks. We do have a guest coming on tomorrow. We will be live tomorrow, so we have someone else that's running for office. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. So Jim, while you and I were gone, uh, the creator of Detroit in black and white, Mr. Fire starter, but straight no chaser. He uh, he wrote an article, an op-ed in Deadline Detroit. Did you read it?
I did.
Okay. So I read it as well. And as a matter of fact, Wednesday I was out and I was out campaigning. And believe it or not, that was the topic of conversation. I found it was quite interesting, the take on that op-ed, and even today when I was out, there was people talking about that op-ed, and I think it was very interesting. So Adolph is not here tonight, but he'll be here tomorrow. And if you guys did not read the articles in Deadline Detroit, I think it says "Payback as a Mother." Is that what was the
I
name?
think that was the official title. Yes.
Right. So as a result, he sent me he emailed me, someone wrote a letter to Detroit in black and white, talking about the op-ed, and I want to share it with everybody and get you guys response. um, the person's name is Haisam Hamad. He says, as an Arab Muslim, I agree that we did the black community wrong, not just in politics, but overall, we did not treat the black community right. What I have found is that the Arab community does not understand the struggles that blacks have gone through. And that saddens me because the Arabs are facing somewhat related struggles overseas. The Arabs come from oppressed lands but carry a different culture that allowed them to rise up in business and education. Religion and culture gave them that perseverance. What Arabs do not understand is how much the system in the US beat down the black man. We need to educate the Arabs because truth of the matter is that black folks have suffered more from the system than any other people in history. Arabs do not understand how the system keeps the black man down. They do not understand how hard it is to catch up. I think Arab and Black leaders need to get together and tackle the cultural issues so we could better understand one another. One of the biggest things I have advocated for is how could Arab Muslims be selling alcohol or any other drug stimulants when they know it's forbidden in our religion, yet they go and do this in the Black community? We, and he put in parentheses, the Arabs, can do much better. And I just pray that the Black community does not close their hearts to us. Our racism is due to much ignorance, but I do have faith that some education can go a long ways. God bless all. What do you have to say to that?
I have a couple things I have to say, and that's I want to read a couple comments, and then I'm going to
Okay.
go into it. Edward also says, if you're visiting Yellowstone as their land, we're visiting the livelihood of their livestock there, and that's absolutely right, Edward. It is their land, and we're creeping in on it. It's all good. We can just hang out with y'all. Dorian Janet overall says, great article. Good evening, Stephanie Jackson. To you, we're glad to see you. Most of the wild game tastes pretty good if it's cleaned right. G Money. It was good. I've had bison a few times. I think bison's really good. I know Vanessa's not a meat eater, but bison's pretty tender. They ever set the original? They know they set up the original slave trade. Dorian, they hate black people, but love our money. He's talking about the commenter. Well, here's the thing. It's easy to patronize other people and say, well, this happened or that happened. I don't agree with that article at all. I think he's trying to, I guess it's a he that wrote that opinion.
What article you
You're
don't
talking about
this
it.
letter that this
Yeah.
guy that wrote he wrote this letter. His name is Haisam Hamad.
So he's looking for common ground with black people. I guess. I guess that's my understanding, and I mean, more power to him if he wants to say it. But people have been saying this for years. I mean, whatever they want to say, they can say, but action speaks louder than words, right? Where were you 5, 10, 20 years ago is the question, right? When there's plenty of examples in Metro Detroit, we can talk about Detroit, we can talk about Metro Detroit, where some had an opportunity that others never had. I'll just say that, right? And the difference maker, trying to be tactical here, is green. It's money. So you can't walk in and buy a party store on a corner or a gas station or control this or that if you don't have the green to do it. So I don't know where you go with that. You can't patronize people. And that, I'm hoping we get to talk about the Senate race and you have Adolph's, thoughts. We need to talk about the Senate race because there's a whole lot of people out there patronizing other human beings, and it's sickening to me. And Mike Evans is with us today.
Yeah.
Hello,
I
Mike.
got a lot to say on this I got a lot to say on this conversation.
I want to go back a minute, and I got this feed over and I hear a man talking, and he's over in Dearborn. And I went, I recognize that voice. That's Mike Evans.
That's me.
So anyway, so let's go ahead, but let's talk about Mike. You go ahead and talk, but I thought it was interesting what you were doing over there in Dearborn. So I don't know if everybody knows about it. You want to talk about it, but
well, the Dearborn situation, the Dearborn police and the mayor, they end up. They wanted to put out a interview, but it backfired on them. They tried to act like I did something wrong, and it ended up backfiring on them. And then they wanted to have a meeting with me, but I didn't accept the meeting because I'm not trying to keep going on with the stuff that's going on between blacks and the Arab community. I live in the city, so whatever I'm talking about, it's like a rapper rapping about the truth. I'm showing the people what's going on, and it's the truth. Like when you said the gas stations and the grocery stores, it's a lot of wrong with that because they give us bridge cars, they give us, you know, businesses that they know we need in our community, and then I'm gonna say the citizens of Detroit don't have nowhere else to go, and then I don't want to say Arab community, but the people who own the stores know we don't have nowhere else to go, and they sell us bad food. They treat us bad. Even if you go to the gas station, Jim, they kill people for taking a bag of chips, and then they run them over into the freeway on 6 Mile when lodge, and then next thing you know, they business is back over. But the worst thing about all of it, we as black people, Jim, we go right back to their stores, Vanessa. We go right back and give them our money. So we got to stop blaming people for treating us bad, and we got to start doing something about it. Whereas you don't give them our money, but it's hard to say because they don't have nowhere else to go. Like when we grew up, we had Kroger's, we had Farmer Jacks, we had A&P, we had. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Jim started off because you kind of veered off.
Okay.
Everybody may not be familiar with the story that you broke. You broke a couple of stories.
Okay.
One, you broke a story about a young lady that worked for the United States Postal Service. She was working and she was delivering mail, but she didn't have her uniform. And some residents there in Dearborn called the police on her. Now, the story was a year old, but you talked about it and you actually talked about some of the things that you pointed out, some of the things that Adolf pointed out in his article. The other thing is, I'm explaining this based upon what Jim asked you. So, as a result, you indicated that the Dearborn mayor, as well as the chief of police, uh, found it in their infinite wisdom to say, hey, this story was a year old. He didn't do his due diligence to get the full information. And then we want you to tell the viewers what happened after that, because I understand that after that is when you went to Dearborn to have a conversation with them about, listen, I don't tell lies. I tell stories and I tell truth stories. And then you broke a series of events that occurred in all of these what do you call them sh- uh, shops where people take their vehicles to have them repaired. So
Yes.
go ahead.
Okay. So, all right, let me get back to. All right. I'm sorry for jumping all over the place because I'm new at this. But what happened in the Dearborn situation? They said it was. I listened to the 911 call. They played the 9 Channel 7. I did an interview on Channel 7. They played the 911 call to me and I heard it. And then I heard the person who made the complaint and she said it was someone taking packages off the porch. And I did also now, I did give the Dearborn police credit for not carrying it too far, but then I criticized the caller for saying that the lady was taking packages off the porch, what made the police come out there in a different situation, violent or whatever, because they thought she was doing something. But and yet, like I told them, you saw the mail truck, you saw the mace, you saw her, saying that she a postal worker. And then I asked the police department, I said, listen, y'all got undercover police in unmarked cars. And they jump out on people and Jim a police chief, and you know how that situation goes. So we respect them. They ain't have on a uniform. So I took it a little further, you understand, on that situation.
Okay. And then you did a story about the auto shops.
Okay, in auto shops, they did another story yesterday that these same owners is ripping people off $5,000 and $6,000, taking out their engines, their motors of their car, and not even putting it in. Then when the people go back and want their car, they harassing them, they fighting them. The police been at these businesses. I'm telling you, the police been at these repair shops twice a day. And I'm gonna say it on your show, Vanessa and Jim. Someone is going to get hurt. Someone is going to be killed. Someone is going to be very, very messed up. And guess what? The city of Detroit gonna say, we don't know nothing about it. Oh, somebody should have brought it to our attention. Johnson Benson, I know Johnson Benson, Secretary of State, running for governor. She in charge of these repair shops. I done called her myself. The phone rung for 2 hours, but she want to be our governor, and she gonna ask us as black people to go vote for her, and is disrespecting us from one end to the other. I'm telling you, I'm not sugarcoating nobody. Vanessa, you running for Probate court. I support you 100% because you real, you about your business, and you tell somebody up front what they're going to get. And that's what these politicians are not doing. All they are is telling you what you want to hear. And you yourself, you tell the person, even when you tell me stuff, I get mad at you, but you tell me the truth. And I have to respect that. That's why I'm supporting you for probate court.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to take a break because we need to shoot to a commercial. Then we're going to come back. Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evening's edition.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure? Or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation. The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evening's edition with Jim Nardoni, our guest, Mr. Michael Evans, as well as myself, Vanessa Moss. And we have all our family. We're going to get to your comments, but if you want to come in the room, you can come in the room. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. You guys read the article. Did you find the article to have any truths in it, or did you find the article to be divisive?
You're talking about Adolph's article?
Yes.
Go ahead, Michael.
I like the article. I don't understand, and I hate to say, I don't understand how we keep accepting being the 15th person on the totem pole. I ain't never saw, and I ain't saying it's racism, but I ain't never saw a black senator. I ain't never saw a black governor. I did see a black guy, Garland Gilchrist, get a white lady into office, and then I see how she just backslammed the door on him, and now he running for, I think he running for Secretary of State or whatever he running for. So I'm not supporting no one. I'm not supporting no one who don't really tell the truth and make sense. I hate to say it, Vanessa. I can't. You got to tell the truth and it got to make sense. And I'm just being honest with you. And I don't think even our governor today, she didn't make sense and she ain't tell the truth because she let Garland Gilchrist down. And I'm tired of people taking advantage of us.
She let him die on the vine, and he didn't deserve that because he was completely loyal to her. And that tells you about her character. I want to read a couple comments. Yep, SOS WYCD. Thank you for joining us tonight. Marlon Holt, our friend, I think he's still in Florida. I'm sick of fake victims. I thought you were coming home, Marlon. We're waiting for you. Mr. Evans, Benson tomorrow. Benson will be in living color at 2 p.m. 4800 Woodward. Be there or be square. Miss Sheila, our educator. The MDP did kneecap Gilchrist. Kenneth Reed, good to see you, Kenneth. If the feds had their way, all predominantly black regions would be gone. I want to touch on that with the Arabic community. Hello, good evening, Deborah Harris. Good to see you, Deborah. Blacks in the city need to learn how to hold on to their dollar. Don't let it circulate so quickly in their stores. Make them suffer a little or hold them accountable, G-Money. You're right on. And you will most likely get better treatment and respect. It's your money. The auto shop story was fired. Kenneth Reed, that the message is tired. Blacks have to use common sense, avoid bad. I'm just going to say this, Marlon. I agree with you, but sometimes I'd rather go to the corner to buy something instead of driving 4 or 5 miles to buy something. And let's face it, sometimes this world is built on convenience today, and some in the business community have capitalized on that. I'm not talking bad about it. I'm not. It's what they do, right? That's why a $5 pizza can get you home in 5 minutes, and a $20 pizza you might wait a half hour for, right? So we're built on convenience, and we all do that. We all go, I've been working all day, or I've been doing this. I don't really feel like driving 10 miles to get food or groceries. I'm just going to go up to the corner and get what I need, right? Some milk and bread or whatever. And G Money said I disagree. There are no other options. You're right. There are other options. Most people have cars or know someone that does. There's a bus system. For what it's worth, you can show them better than you can tell them. Thank you, G Money. The sad part, we teach be how to treat us by what we accept. Let that marinate in your spirit, Miss Sheila. I believe our problem is our laws prevent us from ever even taking advantage of citizens to help our own city. Edward Alt. Thank you, Edward. Arab advancement in Detroit is orchestrated by the U.S. Commerce Department. Let's be honest. I already have an ultra-liberal congresswoman who's more worried about Israel than my bloc. I already have Al Sayed with Tlaib. It's got me nowhere. Mr. Evans, the truth can't be negotiated. Thank you, Ms. Sheila, and I think that's a great point. The Highland Park elections are going to be heated this cycle. Kenneth Reed, what about the Arab businessman who held an annual youth event on Belle Isle, Les? No, we're not indicting the whole community, Les, and I think we need to think about all that. There's Par Orgs is out there too. A religion and culture do not give Arabs perseverance, rather their exploitation of black people gave them the success that motivated the perseverance that the Arab political commentator is talking about. We're about to get raw, Miss Sheila. Well, let's talk about it, all right? Let's talk about similarly situated people. That's where it doesn't. Again, I'm not here to criticize anybody, but let's talk about similarly situated individuals. All right? You came from Lebanon, your family paid for you, the U.S. government welcomed you, whether it's Commerce Department or whatever, and typically you had some funds when you got here. There's a system, and maybe some of you folks know about it. I learned about it. It's called WASTA. WASTA is when you take care of the next generation of people. But here's the difference. You have the funds to take care of the next generation. That's not always true in other families, right? So if someone sets up space and they buy a little business, I'm not criticizing them, but they have the resources that many in our community don't have. So I don't think that, generally speaking, the Arab community is similarly situated to the black community. It just, there's a lot of differences.
Well, can I comment to that? I'm a black man. Let me be honest with you. Let me tell you, I'm finna take you to the beginning. I was a black man in the 60s. I remember when my mother tried to get on welfare, and there used to be people come out to your house. You couldn't even have an ironing board. You couldn't even have a dishwasher. I mean, not a dishwasher, a washer and dryer. And I'm talking the kind of ones that you wouldn't believe, the ones with the little ringers. If my father was home, he had to run out the back door. And I'm gonna blame the government on all this because nowadays you got a whole bunch of Hispanics, you got a whole bunch of Arab people, you got a whole bunch of Asian people living in the same house, and the government is sending all them checks to that one house. And number two, and I know you don't want to hear this, why is it in every black community from the East Coast to the West Coast, it's other people running their communities? Far as Arabs in Michigan, far as Asians in California, far as Africans in Atlanta, far as Cubans in Florida. Why is it every black community got every other person in charge of their businesses? I'm gonna tell you why. Because the government, and I'm telling y'all, the government, our state legislators in Michigan, our state senators, our state reps, they always that people don't have to believe this, but the state and local elections are very important. I hear everybody talking about Donald Trump, Donald Trump. F Donald Trump. Y'all need to be worried about the state people first. That's what's important.
So
The-
what I hear you saying, Mr. Evans, is that politics are local, and that's where the power is. Let me say this though, because I want to bring this back around to this article. When I read the article, I saw it as Adolf saying, "Listen, this is a community. Listen, they continuously ask for us to vote for them, and they say that they're going to represent our community." And he was talking about, particularly, he was talking about Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, and he also mentioned uh, uh, Sayed, Al Sayed, right, in the article.
Abdul Al Sayed, yeah.
Abdul Al Sayed. And so he says, listen, you guys want our vote. You come in our communities. You ask us for these things. You disrespect the community. And yet you expect for us to, you know, support you. But when we needed you, you don't support us. And so I found the article very interesting because I'm going to say this. When he talked about Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, and he and I have had this conversation, I said, listen, are you really, should you really be upset with her? And I'm asking the question. I'm not going to say where I'm landing one way or the other. Should you really be mad at her and other people like her, or should you be mad at the electorate? Because at the end of the day, the voters make the decision as to who's going to represent them. And I will say that Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib has never, ever shied away from what she stood for. I mean, we knew that from day one. She was looking out for her family, okay? Her family in Palestine. So are you mad because she's been standing on that same platform? Or are you mad that you have not promoted anybody to ascend to that position or any other position to represent us? Because let's be clear, the 12th district, I'm going to use that as an example. I'm not beating up on her, but the 12th district is not just made up of African Americans, okay?
Right.
What it appears, based on Adolph's article, that African Americans have been impacted the most and disrespected the most.
I think that's
So
probably.
I'm just throwing that out there. What do you have to say to that? Jim and Miss Sheila is on deck too.
Just tell us who you are, all right? And I want to get into the candidates that we have, but not right at this moment. I want to talk lest the feds allow other races to dominate the Black community in exchange for influence in their foreign country. Thank you, Les. Have you ever seen an Arab at the grocery store shopping? That's a good point.
Yeah, but listen to this though. Listen to this. What you was saying. Just listen to what you was saying. Why is it, even though I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna try to say it right. When she told her people and her, now I'm gonna say her nationality of people not to vote for Kamala Harris, they listened. They went for it. They said we gonna stick with you. So if I'm telling y'all right now, I don't want our community voting for them. Guess what they'll say? It's racist. Oh, you can't do that. It's racist. It's always racist when it's us trying to help our people. But she came right out and said, don't vote for Kamala Harris. None of y'all. And they didn't. But if I say, don't none of y'all vote for her, guess what they'll say? It's racist. It's racist. F racist. Do what's right for you. Don't worry about what nobody think, because nobody ain't going to give you nothing.
75 million people voted for Vice President Harris. So I think people forget that 75 million people voted for the Vice President. And you know what? Like her or hate her, you can say whatever you want. You can say how bad her campaign is, how much money she wasted. 75 million Americans voted for the Vice President. This is Detroit, not Dearborn. Stephanie Jackson, thank you. All politics are local. Kenneth Reed, Thomas. It was a different world, wasn't it, Kenneth, just a few years ago? As a resident of Dearborn, yes, of course, I've seen Arab at the grocery store shopping. I beg you not to disappoint me. Don't let yourself fall the blind. Hey, that's a great point. WYCD, thank you for your comments. The feds allow other races to dominate the Black community. I think we said that.
Yep, amen.
Hold on just a second. There was a point, Mr. 1213, I'm looking for you. I know you're here about my availability for grocery stores. I'm going to tell you this. Would you believe Trenton has about 19,000 people? There is not a grocery store in the city limits.
Oh, so, wow.
Actually, I have a Meijer and a Kroger, but as of right now, the road's closed, so I got to go all the way around. So it's about a 6 or 7 mile ride for me to get to that grocery store. I have one down in There's one down in Brownstown here, south of me, but the grocery stores are in Woodhaven, which is about a 2.5, 3 mile drive, but it's more like a 6 or 7 mile drive right now because Allen Road is closed. But I understand your point. Groceries should be available. in the 70s, I worked for this company you guys may have remembered. Anybody that's a little older, it's called the Kmart Corporation. And, they had a few stores all over, and there were 2 or 3 stores in Detroit. And they were some of the biggest selling stores in the whole corporation. It was a Michigan-based company, and Detroit, Plymouth, and Southfield, and one over on the east side were 2 of the best selling Kmart stores, retail stores in this area.
So let me ask you this, Jim, and then we're going to get to Miss Sheila. Do you guys have markets in your neighborhood?
Do I have markets?
Yeah. Do you have markets in Trenton?
Well, I can tell you right now, about a half a mile from me right now, there's a gas station being built, and I don't think they're telling anybody. And it's one of those stores that everybody knows about. And I wondered, it's called Sheets. And then there's another grocery store 1.5 miles at Fort and West that has a big pad that looks like it's 200 square feet of concrete. I don't know what's going on, but this was a little tiny gas station, but they're turning these into more mini mart kind of stores, 7-Elevens, a pizza, whatever they're doing. So yes, I will say within 2 miles of me right now, I fear that we're getting 2 Sheets like gas station, restaurant, whatever. And about, again, 2 miles from here in Woodhaven was the famous Detroiter truck stop. That was you could get anything there, from a young girl to a haircut. But I'm kidding. But
okay, I will say that I as it relates to the article and the things that Adolph pointed out, he's not the only one. Keith Williams has written quite a few articles saying almost the same thing that Adolph is saying. I will say that it appears that it has had some kind of impact, because I understand that certain individuals that are running for office, including one that has been on our show, their endorsements, some people are withdrawing their endorsements because they've associated with someone that does not support the community. So, Miss Sheila, you've joined Detroit in Black and White. Good evening, Miss Sheila.
Miss
What is
Sheila.
it that you have to say?
First of all, I want to congratulate everybody that's on the panel. And I want to say first, excuses, excuses, excuses. And that's what they bring up when you bark back at the truth. Okay. It's a lot of refugees here in Bloomfield. Okay. With a food stamp card. All right. And it blew my mind. I was like, wow, how they get a food stamp card and they owning businesses. And I'm not saying something that I made up. They showed me the new food stamp card. Okay. And I want to ask y'all, do y'all remember Call Them Out? That group that they used to have called Call Them Out? What happened to that?
I do not.
I remember hearing it, but I don't know who was involved, and I have no idea, Miss Sheila. I have no idea.
Okay, well, we need to bring it back. Okay, we need to bring it back as individuals, because back in the day, they had this organization called Call Them Out. And I went to a lot of their fairs and stuff, and they had Sambo awards, and they gave Sharon McPhail one, if y'all remember. But I was there and I seen that. And I really appreciate Mr. Evans exposing these gas stations, these Arabic people in our neighborhood selling loose cigarettes, having a whole lot of crime going on at their gas station. And then they have the local people help protect them from getting in trouble. And some of them are green light gas stations.
All
So
of
don't
them,
give me that.
majority are. All of them, Sheila. Well,
Oh,
me and
okay.
Sheila grew up across the street from each other, y'all. I just want y'all to know I heard her voice. Me and her grew up right across the street from each other in the 60s. So we know the real struggle.
Right, right.
Yes.
And we know the truth.
We know the truth. We know the struggle.
Right.
So,
And I'm glad that Mike, you getting traction. I really appreciate it. And like I said, we got to go as individuals. Not all the time we got to get in a group. Because to me now, I don't care about no group. I want to be an independent thinker. Okay. And if y'all smart tomorrow, Benson is going to be at 4800 Woodward tomorrow on a debate panel. Okay. At 2 o'clock. Show up and tell her what you feel. Tell her what you feel. Cause we all, being quiet and just going by protocol. I'm sick of that. I'm telling the truth. I don't care who you are, and if you don't buy my vote, you're not getting my vote.
Amen. And
Okay.
let me say this too. And I'm gonna say this on your back, Sheila. Sorry, I'm tired of listening to channel 2, channel 4, and 7 putting their candidates out there. They are leading, they are the ones they do not vote for the black community. They do not vote, and they always saying who the front runner is. They don't know who the front runner is. And we as individuals should stop listening to what they say and think for ourselves. Like you said, individuals, you're gonna have to buy my vote too. It's no more giving my vote to any party and we still at the bottom like this. We've been voting Democrats for 60 years and we don't have nothing. We don't have absolutely nothing in our community. And I'm holding an iPhone right now up to my face, and I used to watch the Jetsons on TV. The Jetsons, and they had phones. We thought it was a joke. But if you take this phone I'm talking to y'all in, this phone done changed 20 times, and black people is still at the bottom of the barrel to advancement, where this phone that I'm holding in just came out and it done changed 20 times. That's a shame that we are still stuck on this one party system. Telling y'all.
And it's a form of
I'm voting
manipulation.
policy. I'm
Oh,
voting policy. I'm voting policy. What you
I'm voting
bringing to the
policy
table?
with my home girl. We done took over the show, Sheila. I'm voting policy.
it's your
That's it.
show. It's your
That's
show as
it.
much as
And I
it's
don't
our
care if
show.
you Republican. I don't care if you Democrat. I don't care if you independent. If you got and then not only your policy, I'm gonna hold you to it.
And
I'm
not
gonna
just listen
hold
to
you
this,
to it.
Sheila. Listen to this, Jim. Listen to this. I watched an interview on Facebook the other day. It was over 200 pastors lining up behind Mike Duggan when he said he was running for independent. And all the pastors I saw was show enough Democrats. They told my granny, they told my people, vote Democrat, vote Democrat, vote Democrat. Then as soon as this man said he running for independent, they stood up behind him and say, I'm voting independent. We got to think for ourselves because they tricking us.
And there's some, we had a question out there that what's the topic of the conversation? I have a topic, but we didn't really get to that yet. I want to read a couple comments because you didn't take over the show. This is your show just as much as it's our show, and it's everybody's show. And that's the way we feel about it. It's about
And that's
policy.
why I love black and white. That's why I love the black and white show.
I
And Derek
second that,
says,
Mr. Evans.
about policy. Agnes Hitchcock led call them out. What is the green light gas station WYCD? It's green light notifies the police department when there's something going on there, when some activity.
Yeah, let me comment on that. When I see a green light gas station, I immediately say I'm not stopping there.
Okay.
And now that makes sense because listen, most of them green lights, they got a bunch of crime going on up at that green light.
Exactly. So
Karen
as opposed to attracting people, Jim, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm sorry, I'm not. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to say that if I'm out and I see a green light, it tells me that it's a high crime area. It doesn't tell me that you're going to be safe stopping here. It tells me don't stop. So I keep going. I'm not stopping at a green light gas station. I'm just not doing it.
Thank you, Marlon.
The sad part, forgive me, Mr. Jim, but the sad part is the people in the neighborhood help protect that particular gas station that's doing stuff wrong. Because I done had some of my girlfriends say, don't tell on them. And they know I tell on them because they sliding cigarettes. And I say, you see how he touched everything and everything? You don't know what he touching and then touching your filter or your cigarette. I'm going to tell on him. And my friends, they get mad at me. But that's it, what it is.
But if we were selling Lucy cigarettes, our ass wouldn't be able to do it. You know how much money they make on Lucy cigarettes? Y'all
Lots.
think it's a little thing, but when you can take a pack of cigarettes and make $20, $30 on one pack of cigarettes,
A lot of money.
that's a lot of income.
And
Mike, they
Marlon's
done went up to $1 a cigarette.
I think it's $2, Sheila. I brought some on camera. It's $2.
Okay. The
And
last
guess
time I
what?
bought something, I had to tell on them it was $1.
He
It was
brought some in.
$1. And
Yeah.
I told on him. He
And they
said, I
ain't
said, well, what happened to the deal for $2? They said, no, it's $1 a piece. I said, okay, and I'm telling on you too.
I don't smoke. So
Les, green light gas stations only record. Yes, that's a fact. Les, thank you. It's illegal to sell Lucy. Stephanie Jackson. It's on top of things. Who started the slave trade? Arabs. Dorian Denard. Thank you, Dorian. Marlon loved Kmart and the Coney Island Jack in the Box. Marlon and I, we agree on a lot of things. Jack in the Box is on its way back to Florida and Michigan, opening one in May in Battle Creek, Jack in the Box, Marlon, and one in Westland, Michigan in August of this year. So anybody that's a Jack in the Box fan,
If they come back, they better have real meat.
cell phone technology is about to be short-circuited, allegedly, Les. Agnes Hitchcock, Les, led call him out. Agnes, call him out, Hitchcock. Thank you, Karen. It's good to see you. It's called Adolf. They're around just quiet. Janet Overall. If Sheetz open a dozen stores in Michigan, Arab stores will go out of business. Les, that's interesting because it's a Pennsylvania company. And I was curious why that so many people were opposed to Sheetz. And you have the answer. Karen says Sheetz is going to be built at Telegraph and one on Goddard. Well, I lived right. That's where I grew up, Karen, is Telegraph and Goddard in the city of Taylor, Michigan. So sound like
I heard it. They material pose to cause problems, y'all. So
well,
look into it.
So
thank you,
this,
Deborah. Yes, I try and stay in the country. I'm not really a international guy, but thank you. Why is it so damn important to make Harris black? Marlon, Talib was correct in not supporting. I want to go back. I want to talk about what's the topic today. So that's where we are. Deborah says she loved Kmart, as I did. The topic today was going to be the Senate race because, you know, I've been gone for a few weeks and Vanessa's been gone. And we had all three. Can we get that one back, Teresa? Power Orgs, who's always got great comments. You should be questioning. I want to read that before I bring up the comments. El Sayed is campaigning and colluding with Horace Sheffield, who happens to be a double agent, known black broker for the Zionists. And let's be clear, the old saying that politics makes strange bedfellows. It's simply not at play here. Also, the county executive, Par, is right in the camp of El Sayed, and which is an interesting take. Ask yourself why some of these people support him or don't. But we've had all three candidates on here, and I kind of want to take an informal poll. I want to know what people think. You know, Mallory McMorrow with her authentic, everything is authentic with her. And I want to tell you something about Mallory McMorrow. I'm not telling anybody who to vote for, but I didn't find anything about Mallory McMorrow authentic. I felt like she was dripping with arrogance and contempt for the voters. She acted like we were all stupid. I wasn't on the show, but I listened to her. And my take is she thinks we're all idiots. She's one candidate that's doing okay. Now we have Abdul El Sayed, who doesn't think that our system should be in the business of creating billionaires and believes in Medicare for all, which I don't have a problem with that. He wants to eliminate ICE, and he supports a guy named Hassan Piker, who said he would vote for Hamas over Israel every time. And that's fine. That's his choice. I'm not going to tell him he can't. And then we have Haley Stevens, who has taken $5.4 million from Israel PACs, and the Center for Democratic Priorities has just spent around $5 million for an ad buy from May 9th to June something. So what does everybody think? Who is?
Let me say this, Jim. It sounds like you're not impressed with number 1, 2, or 3.
I didn't say that. I'm just
messing with you.
I thought her dismissive behavior.
Who is her? Who are you talking about?
Mallory McMorrow, when she was on the show, was like, you guys don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You're not smart enough. You're not a Gen Xer or whatever she said. You know, it's like, what the hell's wrong with you guys? It takes
I
me
didn't
2
watch
years,
it.
2 years to move from California to Michigan. What the hell's wrong with you idiots? Why are you surprised by that?
All
I
right.
just,
I didn't
I
watch
agree. I was on that show. I watched that show, and she had a lot of great points. Now she did. I got to give it to her. She had some great points, but it took her 2 years to move here. I paid attention to that.
All right, let
And
me
what
tell
was
you
she
about,
doing? Building?
let me say something about the race. I want everybody to understand this that's listening. I must be preaching this all during the election time. Generational wealth. Listen, generational wealth is destroyed, and the only way you're gonna get wealthy is government contracts. It's nobody else can spend the money to get you wealthy. And I hate to say it, the people y'all talking about, Wayne County, Warren Evans, get them hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of contracts. That's why they can go up there and buy our legislators, because that Warren Evans is giving the Wayne County executive, and our county is giving them people hundreds and hundreds of $1 million every single year. And a generational wealth, Jim, is gone because of the property taxes. There's nowhere in the world you can build generational wealth no more, because you are not going to outgrow the property taxes. I guarantee y'all. So y'all better be wise this election. I'm telling you.
so Vanessa, I'm going to ask you, and I'm just going to say this. It looks like in the Democratic Party, we have 3 insiders that have their supporters, and I don't trust a one of them. I'll give you that one. All right.
it. Okay.
So
Yeah,
what do
that's
you
what it
think?
sounds
What
like
what
to
are
me.
what are viewers think? What do we think? What the heck's going to happen? Who do you want this? It, are any
Jim,
of
I'm going to be in their face, Jim. I'm going to be right up in their face. Every one of these people that say what they say and move different. I'm looking at integrity and policy. Both. They go together to me.
I don't like to be treated like I'm an idiot. If I'm an idiot, I can be an idiot, and I'll admit it when I'm an idiot. But when you have candidates coming on basically saying, no, I just, you guys don't understand. You're not smart enough to understand what I stand for. I have a real problem with that. And
Well,
Deborah says
Jim,
no Republican. So, Deborah Harris, let me ask you this question. Do you think that all 3 of those candidates can be Mike Rogers? Because I sure as heck don't. I think that one of those candidates probably has an opportunity to beat Mike Rogers. And this is a blown opportunity for the Democrats if they get the wrong person and they lose to Mike Rogers or Mike Cox or whoever else. But I
Uh,
don't think all 3 of them
Mike
can
Cox
win.
ain't going nowhere.
well,
Okay.
me
And I'm going to
Right.
myself,
expose him.
myself, I don't got nothing to do with the Democrat Party, Republican Party, the Independent Party. We all are Americans, and we need to leave that party stuff alone, because I don't believe no one should go unopposed. Like when you go to the ballot, you see vote for 10 judges, and there's only 10 judges running. I think that's a bunch of crap, because nobody ain't hold accountable. If it's only 10 judges, it should be 20 judges. It should be somebody where you can say, you think I'm a fool, I'm gonna vote for this other person. And I guarantee you things will change then.
Listen,
After Vanessa get in
I'm
office.
gonna say
After
this.
Vanessa get in office.
Let me say this though. I will say this, and this is going on everywhere. It used to be where people would either pay to have their name put on the ballot. You know, some races you just pay a fee, and your name, if you're running for state rep or something like that, you just pay a fee. And then there's other races where you actually have to collect signatures to be on the ballot. The bottom line is now they're using, and it's very competitive. They're using petition signings, they're using affidavit of identities, and all these things to freeze people out from running. So, and then when you say there's 10 people that's running, you may have 10 people in what we call a pack. Those pack of people, and somebody from the outside say, hey, this particular I'm running, but I want this particular seat, and I can't, I'm running against a pack. How can one individual run against a pack and believe that they're going to be successful when you have this whole group of people? It's the same thing with the things that Jim and Mike is talking about. It's the same thing. So I understand when people cite their frustration with the system, but the only way it's going to change is if we change. And if we don't change, we're going to continue to recycle and continue to get the same thing.
And that's my question for you and Michael and Miss Sheila. Marlon Holt, I went to Myers Elementary. Shout out to Miss Vernine.
I got something to say about this voting. First of all, have you noticed voting became all about money? Money, even the judicial system, money. Ain't no justice in the judicial system unless you got money. It ain't about the truth. It's about money. And that's the sad part that this voting system has came to, because it was all about you do what you say you're going to do, we going to support you. And that's what we did. And it wasn't about no money. Okay. Now it's all about money. And that's what priced people out, because people can't afford to spend all this top dollar that they spending. And I wish it just went back to integrity. You know,
I agree with that 100%.
I agree with that.
I
But
agree
the
with
other
that
thing is, you have
100%.
people
I agree with
who
that.
say, I'm going to do this when I get in office, do that. And when they get in office, they see that they can't do those things. Okay. So you have people making promises that they really can't fulfill, right? But you also have people who run for office, get in office, say what they're going to do what they want to do what they say they're going to do, and people are pissed off. He said that this is what he's going to do if he was elected into office. He said it and he's doing it. Why are you mad? Why are you mad? If you want something different, we all have to do something different.
Agreed.
We all have to.
Do you want to read some of those last?
Do something different.
Do you want to read a few of those comments, Vanessa? Because we're not leaving our friends behind here.
Right. So, but this is the thing. You cannot run for office and not expect to have the hard questions. You cannot hold an office and expect to get all the praises and not get the lumps that go along with it. Because if you don't get the lumps that go along with it, if you don't get the criticisms, that means that you're not a good leader. That means that you're not, well, all I say, you're not listening. You're not listening to your constituents. You're not respecting your constituents. And I think that what we say on a consistent basis is that say what you mean what you say. And if things change, because things change, we all evolve. Say, yeah, I said that then, but because X, Y, and Z happened in my life, and I looked at now I look at it in a different lens. If you do that, I think that people can accept and respect that, but we don't get that, and that's really unfortunate.
And a lot of times they bought. A lot of time these candidates is bought, and they have to do what whoever paid them to do first.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to read a couple of these. We're not leaving until we get to
talk about somebody being bought before the show came on.
We did. Trump said the same thing he would do. Deborah Harris, I think there's some truth to that. That's what I was thinking about. We elected a maniac, whether we deserve it or don't deserve it, whether we support him or didn't support him. We kind of knew what we were getting. I think you're right. Thank you, Dwayla. Rich or poor, a lot of whites have second properties like cottages up north. There was a white family who lived on my street, and they were poor but benefited from generational wealth. That's kind of what I was talking about with the party stores. You know, when somebody puts, it's a heck of a lot easier to open a business when someone puts, you know, a couple $100,000 in your pocket than when you have, you know, $560 in your pocket.
Yeah.
Citizens United and Buckley versus Vallejo are the two decisions responsible for big money in politics. We'll most likely have to get an amendment to be rid of that evil. And I think that's a great step. If they're willing to do it, I think you're right, WYCD. Choose what's good for you and your community. I'm going to add Deborah Harris. Thank you. I think that's right. And I'm not telling anybody who to vote for.
Yes,
I just
you are. Tell them to vote for me.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm talking about.
No, yes, you are. Tell them to vote for me.
We get more from democracy, or we are losing.
Vote for this black woman.
Whatnot, Deborah Harris. Thank you. Powerworks was not happy with the Mallory McMorrill interview. I intentionally, I was gone, and I was happy that I was gone because, you know, she's just not my cup of tea. I'll just say that. the world of politics is full of people that have never had gainful employment and never, pushed a shopping cart or worked in a grocery store or worked in a factory and these are the people that are making our lives decisions. And whether it's El Sayed, the doctor, or Mallory McMorrow, or maybe even Haley Stevens, I don't know. It seems like she's probably a lifetime politician too, but they're making lifetime decisions on us, and they've never had to deal with a lot of the things many of our friends here have had to deal with.
Well,
Stevens or McMorrow can beat Rogers. I don't think El Sayed can carry places like Isabella and Mecosta County. Thank you, Mr. Duckett. I think you're right on to something. I'm not sure. We'll see. Maybe he can. Maybe he has more support than we know. But he's going to have a tough time. It's an uphill battle for all of them. We got you, Vanessa Duela. Thank you. Encourage your family. I lost that one. Encourage your family.
Would you read Kenneth Reed's before we go? Because I
My
think
water bill on average is $70 per month. Where do we get a water bill today that said we owe $306.23? It said we use 18,448 gallons of water. We're going to appeal. That's a lot of water.
Oh my God, that had to be a mistake.
Thank you, Janet.
Okay.
Yes, that's a lot of water.
That's a lot.
Deborah Harris, I voted for the black woman. Thank you, Deborah. Encourage your family and friends and neighbors. Thank you, Deborah. Encourage them to find out who is good for the community. That would be my only thing. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, who not to vote for. It's not my call. But
I am. I'm going to
talking about. We're still talking about the Democratic race for Senate, and
Right.
I don't know. I think that Adolph made a great point. I think his story was good. I
just want to share with you guys this. I'm the last of the baby boomers, and it's more of us on this planet than it is anybody. And another thing, it's a lot of us that have money. Okay? My thing is, let's help the coming future and let's stand up. And I'm out.
Thank you, Miss Sheila. You made your money. That's why you have a little bit. Michigan is politically whack, and that's why I haven't Marlon come home. Florida has no state income tax, and we expect no property tax January 27th. So why come back to Michigan? I'd love to come home. I understand, Marlon. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael Evans. We appreciate it. I was surprised to see you, but I really enjoyed watching your video online. So if any of our friends out there want to take a look, Mike is there. Tell us the name of your site, Mike. You're on Facebook so people know what it is.
Well, it's Charlie Hustle 922, and we'll be back strong Monday because he had a little situation, and we're gonna be back strong Monday. So
Thank
y'all
you for
watch
what
out.
you do.
So watch out. Vanessa, if you do something wrong, we gonna be on YouTube. We ain't turning. We gonna be on YouTube, Vanessa.
I get blamed for a whole lot of stuff every day. But listen, we'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll be Detroit in black and white. We'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll be live tomorrow morning. Adolph will be joining us. So if you guys have some questions that you want to ask him, feel free to do so. We will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, and thank you so much for watching Detroit Black and White. Hey, Marlon.